Joe Biden, he's prepping for a 2024 run. I can't believe I'm actually saying that out loud. He's apparently prepping for a 2024 run. They're clearly flirting heavily, the Democratic Party is, with Gavin Newsom. They're dancing, their hand is on his butt, but Joe Biden's saying he's going to run. What am I supposed to make of the Democrat primary in 2024?
I think the Democrats feel energized by those midterms and actually think that this, man who's really struggling with his cognitive abilities can nonetheless, if he can't actually do the job, he could re-win the job. And they are going to stick with the one that brung him. I think that's kind of the thinking, because these same people in that Hill article and other places are saying, I didn't believe he could do it before, but now I do. I was a doubter, but now I'm a believer. But they're totally discounting the whole line of concern when it comes to his mental function. I mean, Jesse, just this morning we were talking about on my show, when he went down to the border for his 2 minutes, he managed to commit another gaffe. He met somebody from the Salvation Army. You saw from the Salvation Army, and started saying, like, I spent time with the Secret Service over in Ukraine. What? Then he corrected himself and changed it to Salvation Army. So unclear whether, he misspoke or he was genuinely confused. But the Salvation Army plays the music on the corners at Christmas time, and you donate to, but they don't protect you. It's like, he was one step away from asking them, the guy, how many Taliban kills he had. It was like, hello.
Megyn, I understand that it's tough. You got to dance with the one who brought you, as you pointed out. But have they considered that Kamala Harris is the successor? Joe Biden is a very old man, and I don't wish any physical harm on him whatsoever, but he's an old man, not doing well, going to run him another 4 years. What happens if, God forbid, they have to cart the man out the back of the White House and she has to take over? Isn't that disaster for a party to have somebody that unlikable as the face of the party?
Yeah. I mean, I think what we've seen when it comes to these elections and maneuvering and so on is the Democrats may be objectionable and outrageous in some of their policies, but they're not dumb. Like they're pretty savvy in their strategy in a way I think a lot of people wish the Republicans would be a lot of the time, right? Like they pulled off those midterms by making it abortion, Trump, all the stuff. So they know she can't win. They know this, which is yet another reason why it's like new life in the Biden sails. Oh, they don't care if they have to weaken and Bernie him over the line a second time, or he's got to go back down in the basement. They know they can't win with her, and they know they can't bounce her, given their commitment to identity politics. So, and certainly not for like the white man out of California, Gavin Newsom. So they need Biden to be their guy this just until they get over the finish line for the second term. And whatever happens from that point is somebody else's problem. I'm sure they'd love to see her subbed out.
Yeah, then they'll figure it out from there. All right, Megyn, finally, the Republican side. It has been thought, I know you've said this on your great show, that Donald Trump is the presumptive nominee. For the longest time, I just thought Donald Trump was the presumptive nominee. I don't know if I believe that anymore, and I'm going to ask his son about that coming up next. I don't know if I believe that anymore. There have been missteps. He seems a little maybe out of touch, and whatever you say about Donald Trump, out of touch is not something that I would have called him ever. But am I crazy? What am I seeing right now?
I still think he's the presumptive nominee. It's not to say he's, 100% going to get it, but I'd certainly put the money on him over anybody else right now, including DeSantis. And that's not to say that DeSantis isn't necessarily going to be the standard bearer of the Republican Party, but right now it's still Trump. He's a former president. It's tough to match that, whether you're a Dem or a Republican. He's a former president who can still run and says he is running. And by the time he left office, had huge support from the Republican Party. Yes, he hurt himself with the January 6th stuff and since then, but most Republicans also believe the election was stolen from him. But, his inability to focus on them as opposed to himself, I think, is hampering him somewhat. But that's not to say when he actually goes full Trump on DeSantis or anybody else in a primary, they're not going to immediately fall right back in love with him and get back on board. So I still think the smart money's on him. I think DeSantis will probably be the Republican nominee, if not this time, then someday. But I don't think with Trump in the race, it's this time around.
Megyn Kelly, you're the best. Talk soon.
Great to see you, my friend.